It's for Coach Hamilton. Can you just talk about the Badger defense and what they bring to the table?
Well, I think in a lot of ways, their defense, they're a lot like ours. They're physical, they're tough, and they take the bend but don't break approach. And there's so many unknowns with the coaching change. I had to do a little research. Just the other day, I called Todd Husak. He was the starting quarterback for Stanford in the 1999 Rose Bowl against Wisconsin, and when Coach Alvarez was the head ball coach, and he pretty much confirmed that they were tough, they were physical, and he did a really good job of getting those guys to play hard for him.
Second row on the far right.
It's for Coach Hamilton. Can you take us through how you get a quarterback how you train a quarterback to think within your offense in the huddle at the line of scrimmage, and kind of that process with Kevin?
Well, I don't know that you really train them to think. I think systematically there is a way of getting him to have a starting point and a finishing point with each passing concept, should I say. And but I think his talents, his natural instincts and talents is really what gives him a chance to be successful in the offense. And I've been, to say I've been surprised would be an understatement. I knew that he had the talent, but the poise that he's shown in the 4-game stretch that he's played has been tremendous.
We'll go second row on the left.
So Kevin, 4 starts, 4 wins over ranked opponents. Can you give us some context as to where you are now and your feel for the offense and feel for the game and how that's sort of grown over these last 4 football games?
I'm feeling good. The more reps I've been getting with the guys, the better timing we've been having, and I just feeling more comfortable. I've been learning more, watching more film, and just trying to develop my game a little bit more. So I feel like I've just continued to get better each and every week.
We'll go second row on the far right again.
It's for Sam. You obviously played with Andrew last year, and now you're playing with Kevin. Is there any similarities in the way they conduct themselves, in the way they play, the way they call it, play in a huddle?
It's pretty similar, but they both have their different styles. Andrew was all business and kind of commanded the field out there, and that's how Kevin is. Sometimes in practice it was a little different because Kevin's still kind of learning different ways. But once it gets to game time, both of them went out there and they kind of commanded the huddle. Didn't matter how old they were, how they were playing at the game at the time, but they command the huddle and own it.
We'll go back on the far right.
So, Sam, again, you guys have had several fourth quarters where you had to come back in these last 4 games that Kevin's played. Talk about being in the huddle with him, the offense, and how you guys kind of have handled those situations.
So, starting with the training programs during the year, we always talk about how we have to finish, and how we got to be a fourth quarter team, and that's how the whole team approaches it. We've been there before. We understand what it takes, and being in the huddle with a guy like Kevin, who can make a play at any point. And we got so many different playmakers across the board, with David Yankee and Drew Terrell and Stephon Taylor. So it's Zach Ertz. It's pretty much one of those things where it's kind of come to a routine for us that we understand we got the guys who are capable of doing it.
We'll go second row on the left.
Yeah, not to keep bringing this back to Andrew, but Kevin, can you expand on what you learned from watching such the consummate professional last year?
Definitely. He's the ultimate game manager. He manages bad plays, he manages protections, the pocket, makes the guys around him better. So just watching that, watching his poise and leadership, I tried to emulate my game as much as I could after him.
Any questions back on the riser? We'll go on the right.
Kevin, this Rose Bowl is a little bit unusual in the fact that both you and Kurt kind of came in, mid-season or have obviously taken control in the last 4 or 5 games. What did it take for you to kind of get comfortable and lead the team to this point?
Just when I got in there, try not to force anything, protect the ball as much as I could, and just let the guys around me do their jobs and play ball. Just get the ball to Stephon, get the ball to the receivers, tight ends, and try not to force anything.
Second row on the left.
Pep, you mentioned at the top how similar these teams are. A lot of people call them mirror images. So when you're dialing up plays for this offense against this defense, are you more tempted to look at Wisconsin and say, they do the same thing we do, we've got to do it better? Or do you look at this and say, maybe this is a game where we got to open things up a little bit and try to do some things differently than we otherwise would?
Well, I think our approach, it never changes. I'm talking as far as we want to go into a game and not waste plays. But for us, we start by, we want to control the line of scrimmage. And Sammy made a great point when he was talking about the playmakers in our offense. We consider our offensive linemen to be playmakers. David Yankee pulling around and attacking the linebacker on the second level. For us, that's just as important as a post route by receiver. And so we want to establish the line of scrimmage. We got to be able to run the football, and that's going to open up our passing game. I think the one thing that Kevin affords us to do offensively is when a play breaks down, they got to account for him running the football. I'm not saying that he can't pass the football. He's completed 73% of his passes, and I've been very impressed with that. When you compare his first 4 starts and his numbers to even Andrew in Andrew's first year as a starter, he's really impressive. He's on track to be a really good quarterback at Stanford for a long time. But we got to establish the line of scrimmage. I'll say that again. We got to make some big plays in the passing game, and that's the one thing that we didn't do against UCLA in the second game, in the championship game. We got to open it up just a bit in the passing game and really attack their coverages vertically.
Any further questions? Going once. We've got one in the far back on the right.
This question for Sam. Can you just talk about the freshmen on the offensive line and the development you've seen from them through the year?
These past couple of weeks with getting to see the second team guys as well, and also the third team guys that we didn't get to really see that much this year. But across the board, all 6 guys that the coaches brought in are great players for Stanford. Really a testament to the recruiting process, with the coaches being able to pick out guys that are not only good players, but Stanford guys that kind of buy into the program. But seeing guys like Josh Garnett make some plays that look unbelievable, Murphy just looking consistent as always, and even some of the guys that didn't get to see much this year, Johnny Caspers, Graham Schuler, Nick Davidson, all those guys are fantastic players. And then once Andrew Speed turns it on, there's nobody better. So it's been awesome this past couple of weeks getting to see them play in the scrimmages, and it's going to be a sign for good things to come in the future with Stanford offensive line.
We've got time for a couple more questions, if there's any more questions. We'll go back again on the far right on the riser.
Kind of off what Sam said for Coach Hamilton, can you just talk about any young guys that maybe don't get playing time, but they kind of shown themselves in these last couple of weeks for bowl prep?
Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, I'm sure these guys will attest to the fact that he's been very impressive over the course of our bowl preps and our bowl practices. And at the same time, I think the young offensive linemen, we made a conscious effort as a staff to make sure that we gave some of the young guys an opportunity to go out and play and be evaluated. And the young offensive line group is very impressive. From top to bottom, we feel like we have 6 guys that will afford us an opportunity to be solid up front, in the near future.
Final question?